People only change if they feel like it and if they can. And wanting and wishing is a wonderful thing. Wanting and wishing somebody to be cleaner and to pick up after themselves, wanting your kids to be more motivated, wanting the people that you love to take better care of themselves and to be healthier, or to date somebody that is normal and healthy instead of the losers that treat them like crap. That's a beautiful thing for you to want for other people. And you deserve to do that, and you should do that. Wanting people to change is not the problem. Wanting bigger possibilities for people is not the problem. How we go about it is. And so in the scenario that you're talking about, this is a beautiful example, because you have to say, let them. You see the dishes in the sink, it makes you upset because you feel disrespected and that's annoying, and you have higher standards for cleanliness, which means you're probably just going to do them anyway, and then you're going to feel like you're really taking whatever for granted. But you have to say, let them. And one of the reasons why is because, number one, if this is a long-term committed partnership, learning how to love somebody as they are is a form of love that is deeply important. And if you can't say, let them in that moment, you are going to get frustrated and angry. And then you are going to come to the next part of the let them theory with tremendous intensity and judgment. And that's not going to motivate change. What it does when you judge somebody or you push against them is it actually creates resistance to change. So you have to say let them, because it allows you to detach from your emotions and detach from judgment, right? It is what it is. I see what's happened. I'm accepting the reality of this. Let them. Then you come to the let me part. Is this something that bothers you? And if it is, remember, you got three things. I can choose what I want to think about this. And so you could think a good thought. You could think, okay, good intention. They were probably super busy this morning and they meant to do it later. Let them. Okay, I'm going to choose to believe that. You could also then remind yourself, let me remind myself there's something I can do about this, right? And if it's really important, what you need to do about this is have a conversation. And by the way, Chris has had this conversation with me a bazillion times. So if you walk into our bathroom, Chris's bathroom probably looks like your side of the sink, which is, it's like a Zen 7-star hotel, Jay. Like there's not a speck on that man's like basin or whatever you call it. If you look at mine, it looks like somebody tipped over a Walgreens aisle on top of that thing. And it drives Chris crazy. But what particularly drives him crazy is when something migrates from my side to his side, right? And so he's asked me to please keep my stuff over there. He has asked me to please flatten cardboard boxes when they come in. Don't unpack them and then stack them by the garage door as if I'm supposed to do it. And he's asked me, and then I forget. Well, he finally sat me down, Jay. And this is the let me part. You have to take responsibility for explaining to somebody what you need and the reason why this is important to you. Because when Chris said to me, I know you don't intend this, but this is the impact, Mel. When I see the cardboard boxes stacked, or I see your hairbrush and 15 products of yours on my countertop, it actually makes me feel like you think I'm the maid. And we don't even have a maid. Like, it's just like, it makes me feel like you think it's my job to clean up after you. And that doesn't make me feel loved. Now, when he took the time in a very calm way to drop into his values and communicate what he needed, something interesting happens. If you're in a committed, loving partnership and you're with somebody who wants to do better and cares about you, it taps into their intrinsic motivation to build new skills. If you have that kind of conversation with somebody and you explain how their behavior impacts you, whether it's their drinking, or it's the tone of their voice, or it's the fact that they leave their stuff everywhere, or it's that they insist that you spend every holiday with their family and they have no interest in your, whatever the issue is, if you sit somebody down and you take responsibility, you've let them be and you've let them show you who they are, and then you say, let me sit down and talk about this and take responsibility. I have the ability to respond to this like a mature adult. And you actually express what you need and why, and that person doesn't try, you have to let them. And here's why. Their behavior is telling you the truth. Their behavior is telling you what they care about and what their priorities are. And if their behavior is telling you that your needs are not a priority, you have to let them reveal that. Because
that's also what let them means.
Yes, because then you're going to come back to the second part, which is let me ask myself, is this kind of behavior from somebody what I deserve? Is this what I'm willing to accept in somebody? Because again, what do we also know? People only change when they want to or they can. Mm-hmm. And you might be in a situation where somebody would really love to change, but they can't because they're dealing with some challenge right now, or they don't have the skill yet. And you may decide, if that's the case, to still love and accept the person.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But there may be times where you have had the conversation and it is very clear they're capable of it. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
And what I find in relationships where that sort of invisible distance and the frustration and the resentment comes up is twofold. Number one, you can't detach from your emotions and say, let them, and really fully just let the person be who they are. And you don't do the part, let me, where you actually take responsibility for expressing in a mature way what you need and how their behavior impacts you. And so if you don't ever express what you need and how it's impacting you, you're not actually giving somebody the opportunity to build a skill or to change or to love you the way that you need them to love you so that you feel loved. The second mistake that I see constantly is that you make the ask and then the person doesn't do it. And then you start making excuses and resentment builds. And you stay in something, seeing exactly who someone is, wishing they would change, living up here in your mind about the fantasy of what you wish this was, refusing to accept the reality of what it actually is.
You've just unlocked a whole new meaning of let them for me.
How so?
I've always understood let them when I've heard you speak about it, when I read the book, this idea of let them be who they are. Let them act the way they want to act. Let them say and do whatever they want to do. I have to let them. I have to keep that distance. What you just unlocked for me, which I really want to, everyone to grapple with, because I think it's so powerful, is this idea of let them also show you who they are.
Yes.
And if they're showing you who they are, let them be that person. Don't make them the person you imagine them to be, the one you want them to be, the one that you're wishing and waiting and hoping for them to be.
Yes.
They are that person.
Yes.
Let them be. That is, oh my gosh, my mind is literally blown, because that is so powerful.
But you still have power, Jay. And here's the most important thing, everybody.